Hi guys, you're probably watching this or finding this because you did not pass your skills test at a 70% or higher. So that means that you grabbed this level 1 worksheet out of the bins, and you are listening to this to review how to answer some of these questions that are very similar to the ones that were on your skills test. So if you have your worksheet out in front of you while we go through this together, you should be able to solve each question. I'm not going to give you the answer, I'm just going to help you get to the answer. So I want you to go to number 1 on your level 1 worksheet. And the first thing that it wants you to do is to find the measurement of the angle. So we're going to look at this angle, and the first thing that you should note is that it is an acute angle. So since it's acute, you know that an acute angle has to be less than 90 degrees. So looking at that protractor, you know that you're going to be looking at the smaller numbers here versus the bigger numbers. If it were the bigger numbers, that would be an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle are numbers that are greater than 90 but less than 180. Just note here also that the angles go up by 5s in between. So if you look right here would be 5, then you see the number 10, then it goes to 15, 20, and so on and so forth. So be sure that you're looking and that it's starting at 0 and it goes up in between here, and you just tell me the actual measurement. The same thing is going to occur with your second angle. This is the angle that's in red. So if you look here, this angle is also acute, and you can kind of tell because here's the 90 mark. So it is less than 90. I want you to tell the measurement, or tell me the measurement. If it starts at 0, what does it go up to? Okay. Then your next thing that you're going to do is you're going to scroll down and go to this new protractor. This new protractor has many different angles on it that you need to find the measurement of. I also want you to note that not all of the measures start at 0. Okay, but we'll go ahead and look at this first one. It looks like the first one is UZV. So if I follow UZV is right here. So I want you to tell me the measurement. If I'm starting here and it does start at 0, what does it go up to? Okay, and if you look there, it's the same thing. It goes up by 10s, so you got, and it looks like there's 5s in between. So 10, 20, 30, and it goes up. That one is also an acute angle, so be careful. And then it also wants you to add the measure of TZU. So I'll change the color for you. This one you have to be careful with because it doesn't start at 0. So you're going to have to find the angle measure of TZU. Also know that it's acute. So it looks like it starts here and it goes up by 10s in between. So just be careful to figure out what that measurement is too. If you look, I'll give you a hint, the purple angle is smaller than the blue angle. So you should know that that measurement is smaller than this one. Okay. Then you are going to go ahead and add those two measurements together. When you do, it wants to know if they are complementary, which means they add up to equal 90. If they are supplementary, which means they add up to equal 180, or if they're neither, it doesn't do any of those measures. So you would have to put your answer there on the second line. Okay. The next thing that it wants you to do is to look at the measures, and it looks like we're going to be looking at QZR. So Q to ZR is here. And this one does start at 0, but it is still an acute angle. So you're going to be looking at the angle measures that are smaller. Again, you're looking at the smaller numbers because it's acute, less than 90. So you're going to figure out that measure, and you're going to do RZS. So I'll do that in a different one. Let's do that one in blue. So RZ, oh, sorry, it's S. You got to tell me what that measure is. Remember, this one does not start at 0, but you still need to count to figure out the degrees that's in between. Okay, once you figure out those measures, and you can kind of tell already what these two angles are going to add up to equal, but you would have to tell me if it's a complementary, does it add up to equal 90? If it is a supplementary, does it add up to equal 180? Or is it neither? Okay. That's going to be the same thing for the next few angle measures. You should get the idea with that. If you still have questions on that, don't hesitate to ask me, or Miss Wood if you're in core 3 or 4. Really quick on these last two questions here, it just wants to know if the measurement is angle G, or if the measurement of angle G is 80, what is the supplement? Remember, supplement adds up to equal 180. So if G is already 80 and I need to get to 180, I want you to tell me what the measure of angle H is. Or you would just do 180 minus 80. That should give you your answer for this one. For the next one, know that it is a complementary, which means it adds up to equal 90. You're receiving a compliment, which means you've done something right. A right angle is 90 degrees. If the measure is already 20, then what will the measurement of angle N equal? So you'll have to do the same thing, except for instead of 180, you're doing 90. All right, next page. If you go to the next page, let me grab the mouse here. I'll scroll down. You're doing something very similar for questions 4 and 5. Just know that for question 4, they're asking for the complement, so that's 90. For the supplement, it's 180. So if one of the measures is already 45, can you tell me the other measure where it would give me a complement? One of the measures is already 65, give me the measure where it equals a supplement. You're doing the same thing on questions 4 and 5. Okay? The very next thing is question 6 and 7. It looks like you're finding the value for x. I want you to notice that these two angles here are across from each other. Since they're across from each other, they're called vertical angles. They share the same vertex and they are across from each other with two intersecting lines. Since they are across from each other and they are vertical angles, that means that they equal each other. If they equal each other, you can say, hey, 48 degrees is also equal to 3x. They're equal to each other. So you're going to tell me what to do. In order to get x by itself, I want you to solve and get x by itself. I'm not going to give you the answer. I want you to go ahead and try it out and tell me what x is. Okay. Same thing for 7, except for this time, you have to figure out the value of x, and they already give you 150 degrees. Notice, this should kind of be a hint here, that this is a full circle. A full circle is 360 degrees. So if you're solving for the value of x, you're figuring out what's 360 away from 150. If you already have 150 degrees, tell me the rest, or do 360 minus 150 and you'll have your value for x. Okay? Question 8 is asking about adjacent angles. Remember, if it's an adjacent angle, then you are finding angles that are next to each other or that are adjacent to each other. So it looks like it wanted the ones that are adjacent to Q. Remember, adjacent means that they share the same line and vertex. Or on this side, they could share the same line and the vertex. So see if you can give me the angles that are adjacent to Q or next to Q. Question 9 is doing, it's giving you a couple of angle measures here. It looks like angle DUC, so this whole angle right here, they're telling you this whole thing is equal to 165 degrees, so 165 degrees. They also say that angle KUC, so KUC is KUC, that's just this angle, is 70 degrees. So if the whole thing is 65 and this is 70, can you tell me what DUK is, or what this angle is? Okay, so just think the same thing, except for instead of it being 180, this time they tell you it's 165. So just find the missing angle if it is 70, and you need to get to 165. I believe the last question here is just asking you about adjacent angles and vertical angles. I already told you that adjacent angles are angles that are next to, that share the same line and vertex. And on this one, it's for angle 2. So here's the second line and vertex. So see if you can find the angles that are next to or adjacent to 2. And then the last one wants to know vertical angles. So it's telling you to look at angle 1 which means if you are just looking at this angle here, angle 1, it wants to know which one is vertical or across from. Hopefully that this video helped you to get all of your questions. And then once you have them all filled in and you showed all of your work, just like I was showing my work on some, then you can get it checked by us and we will go ahead and see if you are ready to do the retake on your skills test. And then make sure when you're doing the retake on the skills test, you grab a new worksheet for your skills test as well so that you can show all your work for your skills test. Good luck.